Hi, my name's Rob Ryder, speaking out of West Cornwall in England, and I'd like to do a short video regarding the law of attraction, or as I call it, the law of awareness. And it's taken out of this book that I wrote with Patrick Quanton. Or if you can see that, I'll put a link below. A Conscious Humanity, Morality, Freedom and Natural Law. So how am I going to explain this? So most people have heard of the law of attraction. So I've looked into this myself. But I find it something very difficult to prove in a scientific manner, really. We've all got our own experiences in life, coincidences, whatever, that make us think a certain way. So I've come up with an idea called the law of awareness, which you can kind of prove, because I'm an insanely practical person. So if you go back to my other videos, especially the video Reality Not a Spectator Sport, all information that comes into your system gets processed and generates a behavior. At the end of the day, the human experience and your individual experiences is a collection of those behaviors. So if information comes in and you can't practically use it to generate a beneficial behavior, it's pretty worthless, really. So I'm an insanely practical person. Philosophy is great, but can you practically use it in your life? Well, yeah, you can use bits, but some of it is just thinking about the universe and everything. And, you know, the truth is what it is, and it will always be the truth, wherever we think about it. So I'm more interested in what practical things can I do in my life. So I'm hoping to do soon as well a video on practical holistic health advice. So if we go to the law of attraction, what people have been saying is by the way you're vibrating, the way your thought process is happening, you can manifest things and experiences into your reality, kind of like by magic. Things, if you think the right way, if you're in a certain state of mind, a state of being, that will attract similar frequencies into your life, into your experiences. And that might be true. I'm not saying that is true or that isn't true. It's very difficult to prove. So what you hear a lot of people on YouTube, etc., you know, watch my video and sign up to this or whatever, you can manifest anything, change your vibration, etc. But what I've said in my other videos, if you can sit and meditate and I am love, I am peace, I'm a successful businessman, businesswoman, whatever, I want to manifest this. But if you're not willing to behave in that way, can't manifest anything. Each moment in time of reality starts with the incoming information, how you process it, and then there's a behavior generated. So as going back again, you'd have to watch the other video for the sake of repeating myself. Reality experience is a collection of behaviors. So you can't just meditate your way into a new reality, into new experiences, and manifest whatever you want. I haven't seen any experience of that. I haven't seen that. I'm not saying it isn't true, but I haven't seen evidence of that. And if you're doing your mantras in the morning, I am love, I am peace, I am successful, I am caring, whatever, isn't that reaffirming the fact that you're not peace, you're not love, you're not caring, because you're trying to convince yourself? If you were love, peace, caring, compassion, or whatever, you would just be that. You wouldn't need to convince yourself. You wouldn't need anyone else to tell you that. You certainly wouldn't need yourself to tell you that. So that starts with a doubt as well, because these are supposed to set off your vibration for the day. But the fact that you're trying to convince yourself you love and peace and everything kind of is an admittance that you're not, that you need to put yourself into that state. So these issues with this law of attraction, and a lot of it, I think, is avoidance of the actual physical reality we live in. I think a lot of it's based on fear. And I always say, you know, law of attraction, if you like, can probably open the doors of possibility. but getting off your backside and walking through will get you through them doors of possibility and opportunities. So you have to, it ends in a physical act of actually doing something. Now, the law of attraction says you will just draw in experiences, possibilities, opportunities into your life by the way you're vibrating. Okay, could be true. But like I say, it's not much practical use to me, especially when I'm not seeing it in reality. What I'm seeing in reality is how I behave. On a bigger level, what I'm seeing is what I am aware of. And this is why I've come up with this idea in the book, The Law of Awareness. So what if all those possibilities were always in your environment? They were always there. And it's not necessarily that by changing your vibration, if you want. I prefer to say changing your focus, that you're drawing then opportunities in. But what you're actually doing is become aware of things that are already there. In our environment, we have the good, the bad, the ugly, everything's there. So it's not, if you say, I want to be a successful businessman, and you do your little mantras in the morning and you just go about your day. Maybe the opportunities in your environment are always there to be a successful businessman, and you're not drawing them in. Maybe if you change your mindset and become open to possibilities that are already there in your environment, you'll just see them. Because lots of information is always in our environment where we're conscious of very little of the information because there's so much. So an example would be, if you sat where I live in Penzance, if you sit on the big wide open prom, lots going on. You could see dolphins, you could see seals in the sea, you could see a family having a nice day out with a little kid on a scooter, another family having some ice cream, but you could see a couple of drunks having an argument. You could see something negative as well that you don't see. Everything's going to be there. But what you're not going to see absolutely everything. Now, what we tend to do is focus on things depending where our mindset is. If you think the world is bad, maybe you'd focus on the negative things. If you think the world is a great place, you'd focus on them things. Or you can choose to focus on what you want to focus on. It's all there. So the law of awareness doesn't mean we're bringing them in. It means we're becoming aware of what's already there. And that's easily explained. It's very practical because now we can choose to take a mindset that we're going to look to things that are going to uplift us in life. Yeah? Instead of seeing all the negative. If you think the world's a bad place, you're just going to see the bad. Yeah? Now, we need to be aware of the whole world, what's going on. Because ultimately, the manipulation that's taking place is the manipulation of consciousness. So it's not denying the bad, as a lot in the New Age want to do. I'm only going to focus on the good. Well, yeah, but you need to know the bad because you need to know how it's manipulating humanity and how it functions and how it's manipulating you and limiting your life. Once you become aware of that, then you can stop allowing it to manipulate you. And then you can start focusing on what you want to create. What a lot of people in the New Age do is they just dismiss all the negative and they're basically fooling themselves. They don't really want to know the wholeness of reality, which is the good, the bad, and the ugly. There is bad things happening on the planet. So they ignore that and they just focus on the good without realizing that they themselves are being manipulated. Because ultimately it's behavior that changes reality. And there's a new term that I heard early on in the year called the Blackpilled people. So there's this term, the red pill, the blue pill. And there are some people that get dragged into all the negative, into the conspiracy world, into the negative world, into the bad evil that's going on the planet, and they get lost in it. So they only see bad in their environment and they become depressed, negative, everything's bad, everything's negative. When the truth is, there's a bit of everything in your environment. And my opinion, the people who are manipulating us are quite happy for us to find out what's going on if we become black-pilled, as they say. if your total focus is on what they're doing, what they want to create, and on the negative. Because what creates reality is behavior. And the human reality is a collective behavior. The more people they can get in ignorance or focusing on the negative and what they want to do, that's what will be created. So while you're focusing on what they're doing, what they want to do, and like I said, you have to become aware of it so you're not going to fall into traps of what they want. That means you're seeing in reality, because that's where you're focusing, what they're doing, what they're going to build. So you're not actually building anything positive. Yeah, there's no balance there. You become aware of that, and then you say, right, now my focus in my environment is going to be on what positive things I can create. Yeah, there's going to be a final crash, we're going to get poorer. Do you want to get dragged into that, or do you want to take a deep breath? Yeah, right, I know where they want to take us. I'm not going down that road. My focus is going to look for opportunities in my life to stay out of that. The more people, and so we've got this fork in the road. Ultimately, there's one human experience, and it's kind of a collective experience. So it's a numbers game. The more people become aware of the manipulation and say, I'm going to go this way and create my own world, then the less they'll be forced and dragged off into the negative world with everyone else. So individually, you can have a certain amount of power to look for opportunities in your environment. And I think the universe does provide that. If you've got the right mindset, and you're taking the moral path and your pursuit is truth. But ultimately, it's a collective experience. So we need, the more people go down that path, the freer we will all be, and we won't be forced into this route. And I think they want us focused on the negative, because you're thinking about the negative, you're either trying to fight the negative or you're getting dragged into the negative. Like I say, become aware of it, change your focus, expand your awareness of what's in your environment, and try and look for creative things in your environment. Ultimately, the nature of the creator could be just pure imagination. Our greatest gift is imagination. That's what sets us above everything else, imagination. They want to take that away by instilling beliefs in us and dragging us into their path. This is where the creative imagination that comes direct from source, that runs through us, can drag us another way to more freedom, or even freedom, depending how many people want to go down that way. They want to think that it's inevitable and there's no options, and people get dragged down that road. We have to think, okay, deep breath, I'm going to try my best now to look for opportunities on the road to freedom and go down that road. So I put a few examples in the book, but one simple example, because I'm a very simple, practical person, is you've had a busy day. I know you're on the way home and you need a tin of beans. So you drive into the car park, whatever local supermarket, because you can't get in towns anymore because there's no parking to go to your local little shops. So you drive into the little supermarket car park, straight to the bean counter, get the beans, pay for it, come out, and you're gone. Because your focus was on a tin of beans, that was your whole experience. That was all that was available in your reality, in your environment. But if you would have expanded out and not become so focused on the tin of beans, there could have been a friend there that you haven't seen for ages. There could have been something that you actually needed that was on an offer, but you were so focused on the beans that you didn't get them. There could have been a job opportunity on a board that you needed. There's lots of information in that environment that you've missed because you focused on the tin of beans. So rather than drawing opportunities into our life, maybe they're always there. Now, again, I'm not dismissing the law of attraction. Mark Passio talks about the center of Freemasonry, the G is the generative principle. Genesis, what creates the creation, what creates reality. And he said at the highest level, it's what you care about, it's care. What you care about, you will nurture, and that's what you'll create. So you can plant a seed in your garden for some tomatoes, an apple tree, or whatever. If you don't care for it, it won't grow. You don't plant the seed and then hope, oh, I'm going to have some tomatoes in a year, apples, whatever. No, you have to care for it. You have to put your attention onto it. And that's what we create. And so we become aware of the manipulation. We know where they want to take us. We say, no, thank you very much. Now, what is in my environment that I can care for and nurture that will take me into a slightly better life with more freedom and a better experience? Remember, it's all there. So that is my thoughts on the law of attraction. Yeah, so I'm not dismissing it, but I think the law of, it's not a law, but it's just an idea of gain of what is actually in your environment, of awareness. Are you aware of everything in your environment? Instead of saying I am love, I am peace, etc., in the morning, focus on what you want to become aware of in your environment. It might just be there. You might not be drawing it in. It might always have been there. But what is your focus? If you want to grow your business, are you doubting, or are you looking for them opportunities? Patrick, who wrote the book with, he's put his alleged, unified theory of everything forward in his book called Why Me? Science and Spirituality as Inevitable Bed Partners. And he says E equals mc squared translates as ask and it shall be given. So energy equals matter, and matter has to equal the energy behind it, because matter is nothing more than condensed energy. So the energy will dictate the form of the matter. So that's, in a way, how you're vibrating will manifest in the physical world. Ask and it shall be given. But a lot of people asking, but it's based on fear, on doubt, on lack of self-esteem, maybe. I want to meditate and manifest everything. Why? Because I'm too afraid to face the world that I'm living in. So why don't you accept the world that you're living in? Then focus on what you want to manifest and look for it in your environment. It might just be there. It might just be there. Whatever it is, you need to find it. And you can choose. You can choose basis to go up, look out for that day for all the negative things that are in life, or you can choose to go look for the positive things. And it's kind of a bit like a victim mentality. I don't do that kind of thing. Life's getting hard for all of us economically. I don't want to go on the path of giving in and be reliant on them. You take a deep breath. Right, I don't want that. Right, what can I look for in my environment that'll make me more independent? Yeah, so this is something we can prove. This is, I don't think you can see it in here, but it's in the book. These are the concentric circles, they're called. So in the center would be the tin of beans, as it were. And as you expand out, more information in your environment is coming into your field of perception. But the information was always there. People with a victim mentality are always blaming the world. Oh, there's nothing there for me. Why does it always go bad? Well, maybe not open up your consciousness to see what's actually in your environment. Everything. Yeah? The more you focus on the negative, then that's all you're going to see. So we can't have a victim mentality. You take a deep breath, stuff happens now and again. Okay, right, I'm going to deal with it. What can I find now in my environment that is going to help me in this situation? So again, believe what you want. I think I'm a very practical person. I think spirituality ends in behavior. It's not just about meditating and trying to be at peace, because that's fine, but there's a lot of denial in that, a lot of fear based in that. Ultimately, it's how about taking control, taking self-responsibility, and looking what's creative and uplifting in your environment, and only you can do that. And I think that's what they want, is to keep us in the negative, because then that's how, we're creating with our mind by manifesting behaviors, you can be a genius at look at everything the way they're manipulating us. But if that's all you focus on, you're still going to create that reality. That's what predictive programming is all about. Yeah, and it's good to be aware of it, But then you say, right, I'm aware of it now, so that's where I don't want to go. But people get locked into it, and then what do? That's how predictive programming works. We get to create the reality they want. So become aware, look into your environment, see where the manipulation is, and go on the path that you want to take. And that's the advice in the book. And I think that's it.